Hard to believe, Randy, the two have never met on television before. Chris Barnes and Brian-Voss. Head-to-head on TV, first time ever, and it comes in a huge setting at the U.S. Open. Talk about red hot in the quarters.
Brian-Voss's shot to the pocket looked unbeatable. Let's see if it holds up for another game.
With all the emotion and focus, we'll see. Right in the pocket again. He pures that ball. Great start for Voss.
The ageless form of Brian-Voss. He's been doing that throughout his entire career. The thing that I like most about what he does is how balanced he is at the foul line.
Now it's Chris Barnes, who has a lot of questions to answer, folks, today. 4-pin for Chris. We saw the arena record, the fact that he's made the TV show in all 3 major events now. The TOC in Connecticut, the ABC Masters in Reno, and now here in Southern California. But in the majors, boys, he struggled on TV. How can he advance to the next level?
Well, it's a good question.
Skims the 4-pin.
Solid start.
That's a big sigh of relief leading into our Baby Ruth Real Deal matchup.
Yeah, and if he'd have whiffed that spare conversion percentage would have gone down. Pretty tight here. Voss, a slight advantage in average. And remember that the spare conversion percentage includes splits. First average we've seen that was under 200 when he lost a game.
Now it's a one-game format, Randy. Win or go home as he bids for his first ever major. What kind of an advantage do you think a player like Brian-Voss has, having won major championships in the past, over Chris, who's still, as we saw, 0-6 in majors on TV, trying to get there?
Well, I think the only advantage that Brian has is all mental, because of the fact that Brian's won 22 times on tour, and Chris, in my opinion, right now is struggling with winning. The one thing that he's not doing in his career. He's done everything else. He makes shows. He beats everybody, for the entire week until TV day.
That's on TV for Voss. Look out the right of the TV pair, which has been the bugaboo lane. I'd like to thank Jack and John, the BPAA President and Executive Director of the Proprietors Association, for all their wonderful help, hospitality, and their great staff getting all the event preparation taken care of. There's so many people to thank who do unbelievable jobs between the two centers in Fountain Valley, where you competed, and here at our arena final setting at the Anaheim Convention Center.
Fountain Bowl's been around a long time. I actually bowled there when I was a junior bowler, when I was a member of the Greater LA Junior All-Stars.
That's right, you're a SoCal native as well. Now living in Florida. Let's go look at the oil right in the ball there. See how the balls respond. That's the response PV wants. Strikes in the third.
It'll be interesting to see what happens when he comes back to the right lane, whether or not it was a bad shot or whether or not he has to make a big adjustment. But one thing's for certain, the left lane seems to be the better of the two lanes. That's the lane that's held up the best. The players have had most success on that left lane.
Can Chris Barnes elevate himself to the next level and win his first ever major? He told us last night, when it comes to bowling on TV, he's had good games, just not great games yet.
He's bowled good games, and he's bowled some games that were good enough to win. But when he bowled against Walter Ray Williams Jr., he just had to have more. Walter Ray bowled a great game, and in order for Chris to have won that, he needed to bowl a great game, and it wasn't to be. Chris feels very fortunate that he only left a 4-pin on that last shot.
Sixth TV appearance of the year for Chris Barnes, maybe number 7 next week. When we roll on to Tucson, Arizona, the PBA Odor Eaters Open. The action starts live, 12:30 Eastern Time. Note the start time, folks. We're at 12:30 again, as we were this week, not 1 o'clock, as we had been earlier in the season. Don't miss the best bowlers in the world from Tucson next Sunday. For more, log on to ESPN.com. One in Japan, made the show in Kansas City and Albany, the TOC, ABC Masters, and now the U.S. Open. 6 TV appearances. Chris Barnes. The win in Japan counts as a tour title, not for exempt status for next year or for points.
A little bit straighter, a little bit more direct, a little more speed. This ball's perfect. Chris Barnes has all the tricks. He can move way inside and hook it, and he can throw it on a straight line, and you have to have all the tools to get to this level on the PBA Tour.
34th career TV appearance for Barnes. Brian-Voss has been on plenty of TV shows himself. 75 times, either double wood there. The 2-8 stands for BV.
The winner of this game will be the player that figures out and conquers the right lane. Brian-Voss went high in the first frame, or excuse me, in the second frame. He goes light in the fourth frame.
Maybe the winner of the tournament, who can conquer the right of the TV pair. Look at all the matches on TV. 75 appearances, 19 and 17 in title games, 36 appearances. Covers the 2-8 nicely. Always charismatic and so much fun to watch on TV is Brian-Voss. What a character.
That 2-8 spare was no gimme this week. With the lanes being dry in the middle and tight to the outside, if you missed your target just a little bit to the left, it hooked past it, a little bit to the right, and you never got up to the 2-pin.
See the oil right on the ball there on that black bowling ball. How will it respond on this lane? We'll see. 9 is up.
Lanes are changing. Brian has to make the subtle adjustments that we make game to game, sometimes frame to frame. Those oil rings, Dave, you're referring to is because of the weight block in the bowling ball. It actually causes what we call track flare migration. That's why there's multiple rings on a bowling ball.
Takes care of the 9. Is it helpful to wipe that off with a towel before you bowl?
Because of these new bowling balls, as you can see these flares, there's multiple flares, and they're determined by the amount of revolutions that a player has. A guy like Robert Smith's going to have more rings on his bowling ball than I would. But, you know, because of this urethane material absorbs oil at such a fast rate, half the players wipe the rings off, the other half, they just leave it.
Oscar Palermo did quite a bit of wiping with a towel on his bowling ball. That's high for Barnes. 3-6-10 for Chris.
Right lane blues, not sure what your ball is going to do out of your hand, and we saw this all week long. A little bit to the left, it goes high. A little bit to the right, it hangs.
Multi-pin conversion numbers, you see them there. 1-pin lead now as things stand for Barnes.
The only good news for Chris is that the 9-pin's not standing up with the 3-6-10.
Little help. Little help.
Doesn't get the help he'd asked for. Open frame, Chris Barnes. That could be very devastating to his quest for a first ever major. What happened?
Missed left. Missed left, got the ball inside, chopped the 3 straight off the 6. And again,